Live from WRAL News headquarters in Raleigh, your number one source for local news. WRAL News, coverage you can count on.
All right, how about another beautiful day like we saw yesterday? I'll show you what time our temperatures climb into the 70s.
The future of education. Today, we'll learn more about what's next for Wake County Public School System. We're giving you a preview of what the district superintendent plans to address.
And funding for farmers. You are looking live at the legislative building this morning where state lawmakers will vote today on $500 million for farmers. We'll tell you about some other key bills they're considering today. Thanks for joining us here on your Wednesday morning. Beautiful skies behind us over at Dix Park. I'm Michelle McConaughey.
And I'm Chris Levingood. We have made it halfway through the week. Hyped about it, especially weather-wise. Things are looking pretty nice for us, considerably compared to last week. Elizabeth Gardner is on the WRAL weather patio, getting you started on your forecast.
Yeah, it feels nice out here. I mean, I'm happy to have my coat on. Temperatures are in the 30s and 40s, so it's not like it's going to cause you any real, distress to be out in these temperatures. As a matter of fact, it was 39 last hour. Already, as we're moving into the 8 o'clock hour, our temperature is 43. We're also looking at calm winds, but tomorrow the winds are going to be more of an issue for us with a cold front coming through. We'll talk more about that coming up. It is still 32 there in Roxborough, so cold, but everybody else, as we've gotten into the 8 o'clock hour, has started to see warming temperatures. We're now in the low to mid 40s. Hour by hour, we climb up to 72 this afternoon. It's going to be beautiful. That was about the same high temperature we saw yesterday. Now, tomorrow will be different. We'll see more cloud cover thickening up a little bit more quickly. And during the evening commute, we'll have a chance of showers and thunderstorms. I'll walk through it on Futurecast coming up for you in just a few minutes. Ken?
Elizabeth, happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center. This crash is what we're following all morning long on US 1. Those northbound lanes, you can see the tow trucks just showed up in that area. But really what you're seeing in the southbound lanes, just a really onlooker delay. This is what it looks like on a live traffic census this morning. You can see really and truly it stretches all the way back to State Highway 540. You probably want to take that as an alternate route. Really, that'll get you over to 64. And yes, a lot of people are doing the same thing to try to avoid what's happening there on US 1. But, it's a thing. You have to try to get to work at your appointment on time. We are following this crash on I-540 in the westbound lane near Creedmoor Road. It's causing quite a bit of a slowdown there in that area. As we widen out the view, give you the stretch of a 540. If you get on 540 right now on Lewisburg Road, it'll take you 21 minutes to navigate the entire section of 540. But once you get past that crash in Creedmoor Road, it's clear sailing to I-40. Now, here's a live look at all those delay times coming in. This is US 1. That crash is clear, but you still see a 27-minute delay. 15 minutes for Fins and Wake Forest navigating US 1. In terms of the Bull City, very little to no delays on most of the major routes. I'm going to check the delay times here on the I-885 going into Durham and let you know what that's about coming up. You're getting ready to head out the door. Tune us in on the radio, 101.5 HD3.
Covering Wake County, tonight we'll hear from School Superintendent Robert Taylor in his State of the Schools address. As WRAL's Kelsey Coffey explains, Taylor is expected to talk about what the future looks like for the school system.
Superintendent Robert Taylor will address the public here at Southeast Raleigh High School later tonight. Tonight's speech comes at a critical time for the district. It comes just after school board members met with county commissioners yesterday. They discussed how the board may need $29 million more next year. That money would go towards accommodating more students, opening 4 new schools, and increasing employee benefits. School leaders are also bracing for cuts in federal funding. Right now, the district is still facing issues with more than $200 million in deferred HVAC maintenance. That's led to at least 28 early dismissals already this year, leaving students with even less time in the classroom after several snow days. Our team will interview the superintendent before his speech, so you'll be able to watch that on some of our later newscasts. You can also live stream the address on WRAL.com at 6:30. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News in Raleigh.
And today, funding to help farmers recovering from Helene could take a step forward in the General Assembly. You are looking live at the legislative building right now. As WRAL's Brett Neese reports, this money would also help other farmers across the state.
2024 was a rough year for farmers across the state, from Helene in the western part of North Carolina, and then drought conditions made things difficult for farmers across North Carolina for much of the year. So this bill is being backed by Representative Jimmy Dixon. It is a special relief bill for agriculture, and the money would go to farmers who lost crops due to all of that from last year. And NC Capitol Bureau Chief Laura Leslie says that having Dixon's name behind this bill would ensure that it makes it through the House.
It's not clear what might happen to this bill when it reaches the Senate. This is $500 million for agriculture. There's also another $500 million bill for other types of relief. The Senate might decide that's just too much money.
The House Agriculture Committee will meet at 11 this morning. We will have updates on our later newscasts. In downtown Raleigh, Brett Neese, WRAL News.
Republican lawmakers in Raleigh want to help protect Donald Trump's executive orders. Today, the Senate Judiciary Committee, they'll consider a bill that would ban Attorney General Jeff Jackson from joining lawsuits against Trump's executive orders. Jackson, who is a Democrat, has already signed on to a couple such lawsuits. NC Capitol Bureau Chief Laura Leslie says even if this bill were to pass, it would likely face legal challenges. The Senate Judiciary Committee meets at 2 o'clock this afternoon.
President Donald Trump's budget blueprint, it's moving forward. Last night, House Republicans narrowly advanced the bill that outlines the framework of the president's agenda. The vote was 217 to 215 in favor of advancing the bill. All Democrats and just one Republican voted against it. An hour before the vote, Speaker Mike Johnson was ready to pull it. Several GOP lawmakers were initially opposed to the plan, but Johnson was able to get the votes he needed. The bill will now go to House committees that will work on the details before sending it to the Senate.
Raleigh police say an ongoing feud by rival gangs was the reason behind hundreds of shots fired into cars and homes last summer. Police say the feud started in August in the Hedingham community. A home on Shadow Glen Drive was peppered with bullets. A home on Haling Drive was hit a day later. And the next day, shots were fired into a home on Brandy Crest Drive in southeast Raleigh. Police say a group called the Wicked Street Gang was involved. So far, one man, Anthony Woodard, has been arrested and indicted on gun charges.
Some of North Carolina's top Republicans want state law enforcement leaders to work on behalf of federal immigration agencies. Senate Leader Phil Berger filed the North Carolina Border Protection Act. Essentially, it would require some members of Governor Josh Stein's cabinet to reach an agreement with ICE. Now, under the agreement, state law enforcement agents could work as immigration agents. The bill would also restrict the types of immigration policies allowed within the state's university system.
Covering Durham, the city wants your input on how to spend millions of dollars. Durham residents are encouraged to submit ideas on how to spend $2.4 million on community projects. Ideas are being taken through the end of March, and projects must benefit the public, be a one-time cost, and involve building or improving public spaces or infrastructure. Today's idea submission event runs from 6 to 8 this evening at the W.D. Hill Recreation Center.
Next week, the 18th Airborne Corps will hold a ceremony for the renaming of Fort Bragg. They held a ceremony when it changed to Fort Liberty, and now they're doing it again. The Army post will now be named in honor of the person you just saw, Roland Bragg, a World War II soldier. The ceremony is next Friday, March 7th. And today, NC Central University will host its second annual Human Trafficking Symposium. This event is intended to provide strategies for trafficking prevention and support tools for survivors. The event is also a collaboration with the State Administrative Office of the Courts and the NC Human Trafficking Commission. The event is registration only, just so you know. It runs from 10 a.m. to 5:15 tonight. And the venue is in the NCCU School of Law, Great Hall.
Duke's dominance in the ACC this season now has them in the record books. The Blue Devils went to Miami last night and put on another offensive clinic. They blew out the Hurricanes 97-60. It's the 8th time this season they've beaten an ACC opponent by at least 25 points. That is a conference record.
Hubert Davis will be UNC's coach through 2030. He signed a 2-year contract extension yesterday, and it comes with a very large increase in pay, from $400,000 to $1.25 million.
Ooh, all right. We'll come from the cockpit. Coming up, passengers recount the amazing response from their pilot who avoided a crash on the runway in Chicago.
Remote learning WeWork. We'll explain the effort to allow learning to continue in Wake County Public Schools during certain situations.
Here on the WRAL patio, there are some clouds out here, but they're not likely to last all day. Watch how our cloud cover percentage drops as we get through the day with lots of sunshine. I'll show you when the temperatures really start to climb.
Welcome back on your Wednesday morning as we take a live look over Chapel Hill. You can see some blue skies out there. We're going to have another beautiful day today. Meteorologist Elizabeth Garter is outside right now on the WRAL weather patio. You have your coat on now, but we're going to get to the 70s today.
You know, it was interesting to see just how much our temperatures climbed in the last hour. In the 7 o'clock hour, almost everybody was in the 30s, and now almost everybody's in the 40s, at least on our map that we show. We take a live look at Fayetteville, Raleigh, Apex, and Chapel Hill, and you can see some high, thin cloud cover here. And we're seeing it here on the patio as well. But that's not going to be with us all day. Generally, we're going to see a good bit of sunshine. Now, tomorrow, we'll see the clouds thicken up, especially by lunchtime. I'm tracking a front. Ahead of the front, it's going to be very warm today and tomorrow. Behind the front, our temperatures will cool because our air will start to come out of the northwest. In the middle, we're going to see that front coming through. It'll be a fairly weak system. We'll see some rain with it and maybe a few isolated storms, but no severe weather. So you see the low that's in between Omaha and Chicago, kind of getting ready to move over Chicago. That will stay to our north. And if you track that front, notice there's really not a whole lot of rain along it. This is not going to be a huge rainmaker for us. We move Futurecast ahead for tomorrow. This is 10 a.m. You can see how the clouds are beginning to thicken up. We'll pause it at 4 o'clock, and you can see the rain getting as close as, say, Durham, Raleigh, even Rocky Mount. It will move through during the evening commute, which is going to make for a messy period for the commute tomorrow. Looking at South Hill, Rocky Mount, Goldsboro, Raleigh, with wet conditions during the commute and blustery winds, too. It's all out of the viewing area by around 8 or 9 o'clock, and we'll see clearing and then some nice weather. It's going to be windy. We'll see winds gusting 25 to 30 miles per hour as this front comes through, and even before and after it. 60% chance of rain for tomorrow, 20% chance on Monday. How much are we likely to see? Again, the amounts will be fairly light. It's going to be a fairly fast moving front. So anywhere from about 1/10 of an inch to 1/4 of an inch, maybe with some pockets where it's a little bit higher. Coming up, meteorologist Chris Michaels is going to talk about a total lunar eclipse that happens here in 2 weeks. He's going to show us how to watch it. Checking our temperatures as we get into the weekend. Ooh, tale of 2 times. 70 Saturday, 58 on Sunday. I'll show you why we have such big temperature swings this time of year.
All right, Elizabeth, happening now with the WRAL Traffic Center. Here's what we're knowing, that this crash on US 1 in those northbound lanes, Highway 64 has cleared, so traffic is flowing in both directions, albeit slower than usual, because this is what it looks like on our live map this morning. You can see the lingering delays from that crash all the way back to State Highway 540. You're listening to us at 99.3 FM. You might want to take 540. It's a toll, but it'll at least get you around the situation that's happening there on US 1. Monitoring this crash on I-540 in the westbound lane near Creedmoor Road, you can see the huge backup it's causing. As we widen out the view and give you a look at the entire stretch of 540 this morning, that northern loop. If you get on Lewisburg Road and take the entire loop, it'll take you about 21 minutes. But once you get past Creedmoor Road, it's clear sailing all the way to I-40. In terms of the other major routes coming into the capital city, boy, this is getting better, and it's going to improve. 28 minutes coming from US 1. There's a 13-minute delay coming in from Wake Forest as well. In terms of Durham, all the major routes are relatively delay-free, short of I-885 in and out of Durham this morning. Here's what you're looking at as we check the sensors. You're looking at a 6-minute delay on 885 going into Durham, and a 7-minute delay if you're trying to get to 40 on 885. You're getting ready to head out the door. Do yourself a favor. Take us with you. 101.5 HD3. You can listen to us anywhere in the Triangle.
All right, thanks, Ken. So pretty soon, you need to make sure you get enough rest and look up and have a pretty good camera if you plan to take pictures of it, because a lunar eclipse is roughly 2 weeks away. Meteorologist Chris Michaels joins us to explain how this happens. And Chris, the moon, it's going to look pretty red.
Going to play, yeah, especially Thursday night into Friday morning. That is going to be March the 13th into March the 14th. So we still have some time to go, but wanted to give you guys a little bit of a preview. This will happen when the Earth is right smack dab in the middle of the sun and the moon. So you get that red shadow that's cast onto the moon. What's kind of cool is that the moon's surface acts like a projector, and so what you're getting is all the Earth's sunsets projected onto the moon's surface. This time around, it will be a total lunar eclipse, at which point you'll see 100% of the moon within the Earth's inner shadow. Now, of course, it starts as a partial, and that's going to be 1:09 in the morning on Friday, March the 14th. By 2:26 that same morning, the entire moon is going to appear red. And then by 4:47 that morning is when the partial eclipse ends. So might want to just make a little bit of note in your phone if you plan on waking up that early. And if you don't, I've got to look ahead to the next one in 2026. That's right now on WRAL.com.
All right, thanks, Chris. Well, passengers say their pilot was calm and collected as a near miss at Chicago's Midway International Airport becomes the latest of many aviation scares. Take a look at this. An airport surveillance camera caught the moment a Southwest Airlines jet climbed back into the air instead of hitting another plane taxiing right through its landing runway. Southwest says their crew followed safety procedures. They circled the airport and eventually landed safely. Passengers are grateful for the pilot's quick reaction.
I just feel very thankful for who we had flying our plane.
Yes, and I was already kind of anxious going on the plane just because of what's been happening this year so far with all the flights, crashing and things happening. So I was already anxious. And then when that happened, I was extra thankful.
The FAA says the private jet entered the runway without authorization and that they will continue to investigate this near miss.
Dock workers from North Carolina to Texas have approved a new contract. Roughly 99% of the International Longshoremen's Association voted in favor of the deal with the U.S. Maritime Alliance. This 6-year contract will include a 62% pay increase, and it includes protections from fully automated cranes at ports. The union walked off the job for 3 days back in October, and it appears that since then, well, the issues have been worked out.
The number of people with measles in Texas is increasing. 124 people are now positive for measles in the western part of the state. More than 100 of them are under the age of 18. Nearly 40 are under the age of 5. The outbreak has spread to 9 counties near the New Mexico border. Only 5 of the cases are in people who are known to be vaccinated. And scientists in China have detected a new strain of coronavirus that can infect humans in a similar way to COVID-19. The researchers found the virus strain in bats. Right now, there are no reported infections in humans. The CDC says it does not consider this finding a threat to public health at this time.
The Wake County School Superintendent is putting together a new plan for remote learning during emergency situations. Right now, remote learning is the last resort in Wake County. The school board is giving Superintendent Robert Taylor approval to change this.
The real issue is how can we continue instruction in the day and age that we're in when remote learning is a possibility, and I trust staff to work out a plan that will work for all students K-12.
The updated remote learning plan will need to come back to the board to be approved and for the public to see, and it would not go into effect until next school year.
Add Biscuitville to the list of restaurant chains charging extra for eggs. A sign outside the Clayton restaurant reads, due to rising egg costs, a temporary upcharge of 50 cents per egg is included in your order. Waffle House and Denny's are also charging extra for eggs because of the nationwide shortage. McDonald's, however, says that it will not be charging more for eggs. The company's chief impact officer made the announcement in a post on LinkedIn. McDonald's also announced a promotion that starts on Sunday, when you can get an Egg McMuffin for $1 through its app.
North Carolina FC will have new jerseys for home and away games this season. The new kits are from a Mexican sports apparel brand called Charlie. The company sponsors other teams in the USL Championship League as well as in Mexico. And the team says the jerseys represent the entire state of North Carolina, from the colors to the patterns.
Our secondary kit, you will see there's triangles all throughout it to represent our home of the triangle here in Raleigh, Durham and Cary. As well, there's also a little 919. So there's just some of those little bits and pieces built into the kit that make it feel really special for our players.
North Carolina FC plays its first home match of the season on Saturday, March 8th at 7 p.m. Just a heads up for people planning a cruise. Carnival and Royal Caribbean say they have new age restrictions for some cruises. They will no longer let anyone under the age of 21 sail on their own on cruises leaving from the U.S. They'll need to travel with a relative or guardian who is at least 25 years old. Royal Caribbean is also requiring people under 21 to stay in the same room as someone 21 or older.
A book sale is happening in Clayton this weekend. The Friends of the Library sale is on Saturday. Fill up a grocery bag with used books for just $15. It's happening at the Hokut Ellington Library from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m.
Oh, it was a special day for a very special nurse at UNC Health Johnson in Smithfield. Carolina Diaz-Serrano received the prestigious Daisy Award at the hospital yesterday. It's an international award for excellence in nursing, care, and compassion. Diaz-Serrano was honored for her incredible care of her patients and their families. Hospital leaders, her coworkers, and the family who nominated her were all there to celebrate. It's awesome.
That is awesome. Well, Department of Transportation crews in Nevada had to double as cowboys earlier this week. They helped corral a cow that was loose near a Las Vegas freeway. Drivers say they'd seeing the cow near the busy road for several days. DOT crews managed to capture the cow and take it into care of animal control. The poor thing, it was probably hungry and thirsty and running around a highway.
He's just hitchhiking. Look at that.
And they picked him up.
Anyone going to the movies? That's all it's going. Just wants to get a ride there.
That's a Chris
Look,
joke
I'm
right
practicing dad jokes, so maybe a dad in like T-minus 2 months, okay?
Chris Michaels would be proud. Yeah. All right, coming up, cutting down the commute. Leaders in Raleigh want to improve traffic across the city. Your chance to weigh in on the conversation.
And gold is a new green card. Sort of. Now, President Trump wants to allow wealthy immigrants to work and live in America for a hefty price.
As you get into your car, tune to WRAL News Plus on your radio. In Raleigh on 99.3 FM. In Durham, 96.5 FM. And everywhere on 101.5 HD3.
Good morning and happy Wednesday. Time now is 8:26. I'm Michelle McConaughey. We have another beautiful day in store. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner outside to show us how nicely our temperatures are warming up.
They are. We were in the 30s pretty much everywhere in the 7 o'clock hour. Now in the 8 o'clock hours, temperatures are really warming up. 44 in Wilson now, 43 in Durham, and 47 in Fayetteville. I can see plenty of blue sky out here right now, but we have had some high clouds move in, and we'll see that, on and off as we get through the day. Generally just a gorgeous day, though, to spend your lunch hour outside. Temperatures will be in the mid-60s, and of course, we're dry. Running errands today. It's just going to be a great day to be out. Our temperatures this afternoon climb into the low 70s. Ken?
All right, happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center. This is a situation that we're following there on US 1. That crash is completely cleared, but we're still seeing some lingering delays in that area, courtesy of a live cam network. You see what we're talking about here. It stretches all the way back to State Highway 540. So if you listen to us on the radio at 99.3 FM, you might want to take 540 as an alternate route and get around it. I'll have another update for you at the bottom of the hour over on Fox 50.
All right, thanks, Ken. And tonight, parents in Wake County will hear from Superintendent Robert Taylor in his State of the Schools address. Taylor will speak at 6:30 tonight at Southeast Raleigh High School. He'll address the school system's achievements and look toward the future. You'll be able to watch the speech live on WRAL.com. And next week, the 18th Airborne Corps will hold a ceremony for the renaming of Fort Bragg. The Army post will now be named in honor of Roland Bragg, a World War II soldier. The ceremony is on March 7th. Coming up next on Fox 50, letters to the editor. The message from North Carolina's parents and educators being sent to lawmakers today. And up next on Today, Magic in Studio 1A with Vinny DePonto.
Shot in 4K ultra high definition. Your number one source for local news. WRAL News. Coverage you can count on.
What a nice day. Just like yesterday, our high temperatures will climb into the 70s. I'll show you what time it really starts to warm up.
And funding for farmers. You are looking live at the legislative building where lawmakers will vote on $500 million in agricultural relief, the additional aid they could approve to help struggling North Carolinians.
And progress and purpose. Parents in Wake County will get an update on the state of schools tonight. You'll hear the message expected from Superintendent Robert Taylor. We have those stories and others that we are following today on this Wednesday, halfway through the week.
Woo-hoo.
Excited about it. Thanks for joining us here on WRAL News on Fox 50. I'm Chris Loving.
And I'm Michelle McConaughey. Of course, we have to start again with meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. She is out on the WRAL weather patio, showing us a view of the gardens in the gardens. It's starting to warm up.
It is. It's nice out here. I mean, it's nice with my coat on. If I had short sleeves on, I would be chilly for sure. But we're warming up very quickly in the 7 o'clock hour. Lots of spots in the 30s, lots of spots in the 40s now. As we take a look across the gardens, you can see a little bit of sunshine filtering through. There is some high cloud cover here right now, and we're seeing that in many places. And it will be with us on and off today, but it's not going to keep us from warming up, and it's still going to be a great day out. 43 degrees right now with a calm wind. It is 47 in Fayetteville, 43 in Durham, 44 in Rocky Mount, still 36 in Roxborough, but you'll warm up there too soon. Our high temperature this afternoon, 72 degrees. It's going to feel great. But tomorrow, I'm tracking a front that'll bring us some rain right around the time of the evening commute. I'll show you how much we could see coming up.
Right, happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center. That crash that happened on US 1 northbound lane 64 completely cleared, but we're still seeing lingering delays in those northbound lanes. Here's what it looks like on a live map this morning. You can see it really goes all the way back to State Road 540. If you're listening to us on the radio 99.3 FM, you might want to take 540 as an alternate route so you can avoid what's happening on US 1 North. We're also seeing a situation on I-540. Many of you take that as an alternate route. There's a crash on I-540 westbound near Creedmoor Road, and as we widen out the view, you can see the delays that it's causing there on 540. If you get on 540 on Lewisburg Road trying to make it to I-40, you're looking at an 18-minute delay, but once you get past Creedmoor Road, it's clear sailing all the way to I-40 this morning. In terms of the other major routes coming into the capital city, just about a 10-minute delay because things have definitely cleared up there on US 1. Our friends in Wake Forest, you're looking at a 13-minute delay coming in on US 1 and just an 8-minute delay coming in from Knightdale. All the major routes into the Bull City are delay-free, except I-885 in and out of Durham this morning. If you're going into Durham this morning, you're looking at a 6-minute delay. And if you're trying to get to I-40 on 885 leaving Durham, you're looking at a 13-minute delay. 101.5 HD3, that's the station to listen to us on. We'll keep you updated all morning long.
All right, thank you, Ken. Happening now, Wake Forest police are working with the Wake County Sheriff's Office while responding to a home near Jonesville Road in Wake Forest. That's where WRAL's Brett Neese joins us right now. Brett, I know you just got there a little bit ago. Can you paint us a picture? What are you seeing so far?
Yeah, Chris, we've learned a lot of information since we've gotten here on the scene. This is just off Jonesville Road here in Wake County. This is not far from Rollsville. We're going to pan over this is Hartsfield Drive, and this home here that you're seeing with all these cars in front of it, that is the home that the DEA, the Drug Enforcement Agency, has been in and out of for the last couple of hours, along with Wake Forest PD and the Wake Forest or the Wake County Sheriff's Office. All three of these law enforcement agencies out here swarming this home. We understand this is a DEA-led investigation at this point. And from law enforcement officials, I do know that this is a home and this is a road that is very familiar to them. They have been in this area, in this part of the county, a number of times before. So we're working to learn exactly what they are searching for inside this home, of course, with the DEA being involved. We can assume there is some sort of a drug activity that they are going to be looking for here. We're also working to find out, what kind of warrants they had for this search, who they're looking for, or any other suspects that may be tied to this situation. I know from speaking to sheriff's deputies and different law enforcement agents out here, this is going to be active for quite a while, several hours that they're going to be taking to comb through this home and find what they're looking for. And that is a number of questions that we're going to continue to ask. What are they looking for? Who are they looking for? And we'll stay on top of the story and keep you updated. For now, live in Wake County, Brett Neese, WRAL News.
And covering Wake County tonight, we'll hear from School Superintendent Robert Taylor and his State of the Schools address. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey reports from Southeast Raleigh High School, where Taylor is expected to talk about what the future looks like for the school system.
Superintendent Robert Taylor will address the public here at Southeast Raleigh High School later tonight. Tonight's speech comes at a critical time for the district. It comes just after school board members met with county commissioners yesterday. They discussed how the board may need $29 million more next year. That money would go towards accommodating more students, opening 4 new schools, and increasing employee benefits. School leaders are also bracing for cuts in federal funding. Right now, the district is still facing issues with more than $200 million in deferred HVAC maintenance. That's led to at least 28 early dismissals already this year, leaving students with even less time in the classroom after several snow days. Our team will interview the superintendent before his speech, so you'll be able to watch that on some of our later newscasts. You can also live stream the address on WRAL.com at 6:30. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News in Raleigh.
Today, funding to help farmers recover from Helene could take a step forward in the General Assembly. You're looking live at the Legislative Building, where today lawmakers will discuss $500 million in aid. Now, this money would go to farmers who lost crops due to drought last year, as well as the people who were affected by Helene. Representative Jimmy Dixon, a senior member of House leadership, is pushing for the special relief bill for agriculture. NC Capitol Bureau Chief Laura Leslie says that his clout should ensure this bill makes it through the House.
It's not clear what might happen to this bill when it reaches the Senate. This is $500 million for agriculture. There's also another $500 million bill for other types of relief. The Senate might decide that's just too much money.
The House Agriculture Committee will meet at 11 o'clock this morning to discuss this bill, and we'll have updates in our later newscasts about it.
Republican lawmakers in Raleigh want to help protect Donald Trump's executive orders. Today, the Senate Judiciary Committee will consider a bill that would ban Attorney General Jeff Jackson from joining lawsuits against Trump's executive orders. Jackson, who is a Democrat, has already signed on to a couple such lawsuits. NC Capitol Bureau Chief Laura Leslie says even if this bill were to pass, it would likely face legal challenges. The Senate Judiciary Committee meets at 2 o'clock this afternoon.
Today, parents and educators will deliver letters to Senator Tom Tillis's office. Those involved are worried about a possible loss of federal funding for North Carolina's public schools. 751,000 students in our state benefit from federal Title I funding from the Department of Education. Now, this year, North Carolina will receive $534 million in Title I funding. Special education programs are also funded in part through the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act. North Carolina will receive $448 million this year to benefit more than 202,000 students.
Protesters in Raleigh are showing their opposition to Elon Musk and President Trump. More than 100 people gathered outside the showroom of the Tesla dealership on Glenwood Avenue. They're upset with the role Musk is playing in sweeping initiatives to shrink federal spending through the Department of Government Efficiency.
I hate what Elon Musk is doing. He's taking a sledgehammer to our government, to our personal information, just vacuuming up personal information of Americans and wrecking our government.
The DOGE effort is not opposed by everyone. A spokesperson for the NC GOP shared a statement with WRAL saying in part, many states are now setting up DOGE-like entities based on the success we have seen thanks to President Trump and Elon Musk.
Durham police used Go Durham bus video to identify a shooting suspect. Now, according to a warrant, video captured Raymond Dixon approaching the victim, Christopher Hart. This was before a shooting in November. Dixon was arrested on drug charges that same day, and now police are looking for him. He's set to be charged with murder. An anonymous person told police the murder was in retaliation for another shooting earlier that day.
A man who is wanted for sexual assault is now behind bars in Wake County. Deputies received reports of the assault back on February 9th. The suspect, Enrique Vasquez Sotelo, is charged with second-degree rape. He is in jail without bond.
Doctors in Rome say that Pope Francis is getting back to work despite the fragile conditions he's in. Critical, in fact. This is a live look at the Vatican City right now this morning. Doctors say the 88-year-old underwent a CAT scan to continue monitoring the pneumonia that he has in both lungs. Hundreds of people gathered in St. Peter's Square last night praying for the Pope's recovery.
The U.S. and Ukraine have reached a draft deal to exchange continued military support for rare earth minerals. This, according to senior Ukrainian officials. The deal does not give the U.S. $500 billion worth of profits from the minerals like President Donald Trump wanted. Instead, the U.S. and Ukraine would have joint ownership over Ukraine's minerals, oil and gas, and will receive proceeds from their sale in the future. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky could come to the White House to finalize the deal in the coming days. And President Trump says the U.S. will sell immigration gold cards to give wealthy foreigners a fast track to American citizenship. Trump says the cards will cost $5 million apiece. Trump says that luring more wealthy people to the U.S. will help pump more jobs and money into our economy. He says the sale of the cards will begin in about 2 weeks.
The city of Raleigh wants to hear from you tonight. The latest in a series of conversations called Reflecting Raleigh is happening tonight. The conversation series is intended to help the city forge long-term infrastructure goals. Tonight's event starts at 6, and it'll be at the Chavis Community Center.
Coming up, deterring the distractions. The state Senate considers banning cell phones in the classroom. The push to empower educators in your students' schools.
Performance from the pod. Thousands of dolphins were spotted together off the coast of California. We're going to show you more video from that moment.
And it's going to be a beautiful day. You're looking live at Fayetteville. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner is tracking some rain moving our way. She'll tell us when it arrives just ahead.
Give you a live look outside at Pinehurst with a little overcast skies there, but a pretty nice morning to go hit the links. Is that Jeff Hogan out there? Jeff, come back to the state. Could you imagine if Jeff Hogan actually left work to go golfing today? But Elizabeth, I'm going to wager some people are going to find some excuse to get outside today.
You know, if he's not there now, I would wager that he would be there a little bit later. But I wouldn't put anything past Jeff, you know. Zippity doo-dah. All right, we weren't doing any of that last week, that's for sure. You remember last Wednesday, the snow started 9:30, 10 o'clock, depending on where you were, and it just piled up. We saw more of it on Thursday. So what a difference a week can make in the spring in North Carolina. And I know you say, well, it's not officially spring. Actually, Saturday is the start of spring meteorologically, and we'll talk about why that is in just a little while. We take a live look at the gardens. I mean, the gardens still look like winter, but here we are wrapping up February, and it's really only about a month to maybe 5-6 weeks before the azaleas start to bloom. So we're ticking along here for sure. 43 degrees right now. We're going to climb to 72 degrees by 3 o'clock this afternoon, so we'll be shedding our coats, but it's cool enough right now that I'm happy to have it on. It's a chilly 36 in Roxborough, but we jumped to 52 now in South Hill, 43 in Raleigh, 47 in Fayetteville. We had a big jump from 7 to 8 o'clock. We'll see another really big jump from 8 to 9 o'clock. I love this photo. Desiree Greco sent us this one from Raleigh. The flowers are much happier this week than they were last week, that's for sure. Go to WRAL.com/report it and send us your favorite photos. 72 today in Durham and Raleigh, 75 in Fayetteville. We take a look at after school practice. If you take your kids to soccer, baseball, whatever, you can actually sit outside and enjoy it this afternoon. At 4 o'clock, 70 degrees. At 6 o'clock, it's 64. 58 is our normal high, so 3 days in the 70s, well above normal. We fluctuate a little bit Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Sunday, our high 58 will actually be near normal. Saturday, a high of 70. So if you like the warm temperatures, head out Saturday, you know, put on a sweater or jacket, head out on Sunday. The weather's going to be pretty. You may see some of the leaves starting to pop out a little bit as well. So beginning to see some of that in our southern counties. We do have a chance for showers and thunderstorms tomorrow, right around the time of the evening commute. We'll talk more about the timeline for that coming up.
All right, we'll know you'll be watching it. Thanks, Elizabeth. The state Senate is taking up their own version of a statewide cell phone ban for schools today. The North Carolina House brought forward a similar bill yesterday. The bill would require school boards to adopt policies restricting cell phone use during class and then create consequences for breaking the rule. The Senate's version, Senate Bill 55, is a little more strict than the House bill. Today's Senate meeting starts at 11 a.m.
Andrew Cuomo is expected to soon announce a bid to become New York's next mayor. Cuomo stepped down as New York's governor in 2021 after a sexual harassment scandal, and sources say that he's in the final stages of setting up a run for mayor. An announcement could happen as soon as this weekend. Cuomo would square off with embattled Mayor Eric Adams in the Democratic primary in June.
A key meeting to discuss PFAS pollution in North Carolina was abruptly canceled without explanation. The meeting was set to address plans to limit industrial discharges of the toxic chemicals. Now, these are chemicals that have contaminated drinking water for millions of residents. The Department of Environmental Quality and others have criticized the Environmental Management Commission. They say it has delayed action to stop industrial dumping of forever chemicals. DEQ said that it did not make the decision to cancel.
The most cost-effective way to protect people is to reduce discharges of the pollution in the first place.
Now, without stricter regulations, the burden of cleaning PFAS from drinking waters fall on local utilities and ultimately ratepayers. Officials did not respond to questions about why the meeting was canceled or why the agenda was removed from the website.
The Fuquay-Varina Fire Department has 4 new fire engines. The long-awaited trucks arrived earlier this week. The town ordered the 4 engines in June of 2023. Now they will train their firefighters on the engines, install radios, and transfer equipment from their old engines to the new ones. Each truck will be placed into service as soon as it is fully equipped.
And Jeff Hogan, the WRAL Live Center is really lined the streets today to honor the family that has pretty much symbolized what has happened to that country since the October 7th, 2023 attacks. The Bibas family, Sherry Bibas and her 2 young sons, were killed in captivity. And the Palestinian militant group has agreed now to free the last hostages, the bodies anyway, that are included in this initial phase of what has gone on. You see the thousands of people here who gathered. They're holding up signs and pictures. This has been a days-long standoff over the exchange of hostages for Palestinian prisoners. It was announced today that they have agreed to release the remaining bodies from the first phase.
Goodness, just awful. All right, thank you for that update, Jeff. Another judicial order regarding the Trump administration's plan to dismantle USAID. Now, yesterday, a federal judge ordered the administration to pay foreign aid money owed to government contractors and nonprofit groups. The judge gave the administration until tonight to comply. The same judge issued a temporary restraining order about 2 weeks ago. It required the Trump administration to unfreeze State Department and USAID funding. The administration still has not complied with that order. President Trump issued an executive order suspending all foreign assistance last month. All right, your time is 8:50. Look at this. A super pod of dolphins spotted off the coast of Carolina. A boat captain captured this stunning video. We're talking about more than 2,000 dolphins all breaching at the exact same time in Monterey Bay. Right now, we got Michelle just awestruck at the video right now off camera. Marine biologists say the pod could be swimming together to fend off predators, sharing their feeding grounds, or even just socializing.
I love that. Look at that. That's incredible. And the water, so beautiful there. All right, well, our teacher of the week is making a difference at her middle school alma mater. WRAL's Ken Smith is in Apex to surprise a teacher known for making learning fun.
So there's an example of how it looks outside.
Elizabeth Balkin realized she wanted to be a teacher when she was in college at UNC Charlotte.
Books in hands, reading, a few more minutes.
And now she can't imagine doing anything else, especially on the middle school level.
So I started off elementary and then spent 2 days in a middle school and said, these are my people. I get so nervous.
Being a teacher at Salem Middle School in Apex is a full circle moment for Balkin. She tries very hard to make sure her students enjoy learning, just like she did when she was a student here. But there is one interesting twist to being a colleague of her former teachers.
Do you call them by their first names?
No, I will not do that. One of them told me to, and I said no.
You can't do it.
I can't do it. It's like ingrained in me. You can't do it. Perfect. Flip it. There we go.
Balkin says this is what makes her day every day, working with her students and sharing in their successes in and outside the classroom.
I just love being with the kids and the energy that they give and their faces when they learn something new. It's fun for me.
You are WRAL's Teacher of the Week. Congratulations.
Ken Smith, WRAL News.
I know.
I love that. If you'd like to nominate a teacher, go to WRAL.com and enter Teacher of the Week in the search box. Oh, I'm so excited for this. Prepare for the at-home sing-along. Disney's Moana 2 now has a streaming release date.
All right. Yes. Keep reading. Time for a look at what's trending. Go on. You want this. Good.
Okay, one of 2024's biggest blockbusters comes to Disney Plus next month. Moana 2 will be available to stream starting on my birthday, March 12th. That's in 2 weeks. Oh my gosh, this is amazing. The movie made more than $1 billion in the box office, making it the third highest grossing film of last year. Fun fact, Disney originally planned for Moana 2 to be a TV series, but they decided on a theatrical movie release after the success of its first film.
Insiders in the industry are telling me that they actually chose March 12th because they knew
it was my
your birthday. So that's just incredible if you ask me.
This will come as no surprise. Hey, hey is my favorite.
That does not surprise me in the least.
I love it.
We got to check on traffic and weather in just a second here. You're watching WRAL News.